everyone, and welcome to the first episode of a show I'm dubbing TV Talks. That's right, I made up this brand, TV Talks. It's not going to last. I'm sure Frank's going to hear it, and he's going to hate it.
Yeah, if it fails, you can blame it all on James.
So I'm here, I'm James, and I'm in studio with...
Jordy.
And...
Michelle.
And we're going to talk about something we actually haven't talked about on the network before. I don't know if it's because it's too nerdy or just because our network kind of moved away from anime when Al stopped watching anime. But a show that the three of us have been watching called RWBY. And I don't know if we want to give a little background on what RWBY is. Because it's not, when you think of like anime, you think of like just a Japanese animated cartoon. And RWBY is...
Well,
different.
There's a whole argument of whether RWBY's actually considered anime.
Yeah, and the great thing about that argument is that Japan considers it anime. So, I mean,
But some weeby Americans are like, it's not anime! The art's different!
Yeah, I mean, it definitely comes down to a contentious topic.
Yeah.
So, I have been watching anime since I was 4. And even if you don't consider RWBY an anime, it has a lot of tropes that anime has. Starting off, the entire adventure is about a girl named Ruby who has mysterious silver eyes and starts the adventure by stopping some bad guy from doing some bad guy stuff. And this gets her inducted into a fabulous, super covert university known as Beacon Academy. And when she starts there, she's actually starting 2 years before everyone else because she's special. She's very special. And that is the initial premise of the show, that this girl is going off to train to fight monsters, and she's special, and she's got mysterious eyes.
So to add a little more background, for those of you who don't know RWBY, it's, I guess, an internet show that was developed by the company Rooster Teeth, who some of you may remember from Red vs. Blue, the cartoons made out of, originally, Halo, but I think they ended up switching to animating it all in-house. And by a guy by the name of Monty Oum.
Monty Oum
was the series creator. And yeah, he came up with this very anime style pitch that looks very much like anime, feels very much like anime. When I'm watching it, I think of it certainly as an anime.
So I don't know if either of you have ever heard of Dead Fantasy. Okay,
No.
So Monty Oum actually became internet famous long ago, in the days before even YouTube was big, for a series known as Dead Fantasy, where he took models that he made and had Dead or Alive and Final Fantasy characters fight each other in very characteristically Monty Oum fights. And that's what started RWBY, was this guy who was just beloved on the internet for these like really detailed, over-the-top fight scenes, created this show that was basically, he wanted to be able to have people who could fight and shoot each other and cut each other without killing each other, so that they could have really intense fight scenes. And if you watch the series from season 1 to 3, which is while Monty Oum, who unfortunately passed away, was alive, you can see that breadth of engaging, interesting fight scenes that pretty much exists nowhere else but RWBY, and is widely considered to be why it's so popular.
And I feel like the concept of like punching and kicking and hurting people a bunch without like actually like killing them, I feel like that's also a very anime thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Dragon Ball Z obviously comes to mind. I mean, how many episodes can we see two people punch each other constantly and still be like, yeah, this is fun? Now, how did everybody start watching RWBY? Because I know I certainly wasn't, started way back in the day. This is definitely a more recent obsession for me.
When was it first? When did it first come out? I don't even know. Because I think I only started watching it like maybe a little over a year ago. So, and I was just, my friend recommended it to me because he's like, oh, like, you like magical girl crap. Like, you'll probably like this.
So RWBY started in 2013 was the original release of RWBY.
So it was about like 3.5 years late to the game.
Yeah. So Michelle, I, like you, also started watching it about a year and a half ago.
Over a year, yeah.
With a friend of mine, and I'll be 100% honest. I had gotten the like intro DVD from a friend for like a Christmas gift.
You
had
the DVD?
Yeah, and he was like, I think you'll like this, and I put it on a shelf, and then I saw that it was on Crunchyroll.
That's where I watched it.
And I was like, you know what, I'll try this. I had a friend over, and we just kind of put it on in the background while we were doing other stuff. And it was a fun background show. I really liked the idea of something very homegrown like that, right? Like this was something that, a small group of people started to animate and make, and that was really cool to me. But I'm going to be 100% honest. Season 1 and 2, it was a background show, right? It was
Yes.
something I kind of kept on into the background. And I would watch it while kind of doing work or doing some other things, at night. The episodes aren't very long. They're
like 7 to 14 minutes long.
yeah, anything from
And then there was
Yeah.
there's sometimes they would have those little clip ones in between stuff that would
Yeah,
it'd be 3 minutes and it'd be background of the kingdoms.
in the beginning it was minute. Now I think the longest episodes are 25 to 30 minutes,
Yes.
but even the standard episode generally falls on the 14 to 17 minute
And even
range.
if it is I think the last episode they just had it was about 26 minutes, and I was like, crap, I'm gonna watch this during lunch, and I got my phone at my desk, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. But the first 2 minutes and last 2 minutes of each one is the intro song where it's for
Very
90
much
seconds.
anime. It's
Yeah.
very much an anime thing.
But that all changed for me, right? Season 3.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but so season 3 is kind of so I guess if you think of television series, they all kind of have that big moment.
The
I think.
pivotal change.
Yeah, particularly anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have this moment where, everything gets real. Some series that happens really early on, and I think some series it happens later on, right? And this series went from kind of the magical schoolgirl concept you're talking about, Jordy, to something much bigger.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
because the first 2 seasons is all of them in school doing school stuff, being, very yeah.
And then season 3 is their tournament arc that explodes.
Also very anime.
Yes.
So, and then season 4 is Rogue Adventure.
We're sad.
So
And sad.
I don't think we should be worried to talk about spoilers because we're going to go, when we talk about season 6, I'm assuming we're going to go into detail with all the characters. So I'm going to say for me, it's obviously in the end of season 3, the death of Pyrrha, one of the very beloved characters, at the hands of Cinder, and then kind of the destruction of Beacon with Ruby's power of the silver eyes. And, I mention that only now because it'll be relevant to when we're talking about season 6. In a lot of ways because they'd gotten away from that. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I actually had started watching RWBY. I didn't start watching it at the beginning, but I started really getting into it about 3.5 years ago. So a bunch of my school friends, I had just moved to a new school, and all my friends were talking about this, this show called RWBY, and I'd seen some of it on Netflix, and I was like, it kind of seems dopey. The action is okay, but it seems really strange to me. What I didn't anticipate was my obsession. So my friends say, oh yeah, did you see the newest episode of season 3? It's the finale, and something crazy happened. So of course, I didn't want to not fit in, so I skipped everything from season 1 and 2
no.
and watched the season finale of season 3 and was like, oh, that's the day the Pyrrha, and she was my favorite character. So I was like, how am I supposed to relate to anybody now? And then I started watching season 4, and if you don't watch season 1 and 2, you don't fall in love with RWBY quite the same. And I mean the actual character RWBY. So I
You
had
probably were like, this girl's so annoying. This is oh.
My husband literally made jokes about her all the time, and this at the same time I moved in with my friend Will, who has been obsessed with RWBY since it aired, and I was like, yeah, I've definitely seen season 1 and 2 of RWBY, which is only true now in the last year or so, and I'm like, wow, I've been giving RWBY a hard time for this last little bit. She really has been through a lot and done a lot of things, and her journey, I think the reason why I appreciate season 6 as much as I do is because just rewatching season 1 and 2 while watching season 6 really showed me how much RWBY has grown, and I think that she really is the heart of the show. So I think a lot of what I'll have to say about season 6 is really just my appreciation for the titular character of the show.
What about you, Michelle? I know we had found out just in passing conversation that we were literally 2 episodes away from each other while we were watching.
Weird. You were at my house and you're like, oh yeah, I gotta go home and watch a couple episodes of something.
Yeah, this anime show
What
I'm
are you
watching.
watching? And you're like, oh, the show RWBY. I'm like, wait. Really? What episode are you on? I think we were both like towards like in the middle of season 5. Or I think you were like a little bit into it. I had just started
You just
season
started
5.
5. I was like 3 or 4 episodes in.
So, and then I think I finished watching it before
Is there a particular reason you picked up the show, or just
I just
looking
liked
for something
it.
to kill time?
It was the same thing where it was like it was nice to be able to just watch an episode here and there. And like you were saying, seasons 1 and 2 are kind of light, but then you're hooked. And you can't,
Then you're
you
in
can't
and you
stop.
care about the characters.
And now you're paying your friend James on Venmo to get access to his Rooster Teeth private account so you don't have to watch ads.
Oh, and yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember when James found out I was into RWBY, I think from reading my post, because then he comes up to me at a party. I don't even live in New Jersey at this point. We're at our friend Danny's masquerade
I've actually
party.
kidnapped her from whatever state she comes from. No.
Yeah, no. So James walks up to me and he's like, so I know you're really into anime and into RWBY, so during this masquerade party, James and I then realized, and I was like, oh my god, you like RWBY too? Let's talk about all our favorite characters. And that's why we went to see the RWBY season 6 premiere together, because we were like, okay, we are trash. And then we are RWBY trash, and that is okay. That is all right.
I guess let's just jump right into it then. Obviously, I hope at this point you're not listening if you're not into RWBY in some way, because this is all going to be really out of context. If you haven't watched RWBY and you've been listening to this podcast and this sounds like something interesting to you, go watch 6 seasons and then come back.
But don't worry, the episodes are really short.
Yeah.
Until you get to like season 4.
Like we said, the max is like 20-something minutes, so we'll wait. We'll wait.
We'll wait.
We're patient.
There's a pause button.
They see you as small and helpless. They see you as just a child. Surprised when they find out that a warrior will soon run wild. Prepare for your
Okay, cool, good.
Yeah.
Everybody's back. They watched. They caught up with everything.
All
So-
like an 87 episodes.
So season 6, I think this is the first time I watched RWBY because I binged the rest of it.
Yeah.
So this is the first time. Maybe I think the finale of the last season. I had to wait for like an episode or 2 to come
Yeah.
out. But I think this is the first time I've ever watched RWBY.
It's coming out.
as it's coming out week to week. I don't know if that helped. I liked this season, but it felt uneven to me.
A little bit, yeah. And I think part of it is that I'm not just watching the whole season at once, where I have to, like, since there's a whole week and the episodes are so short, I just have to think, oh, wait, what happened last week? That is, like, you don't spend a lot of time watching the episode that you just, sometimes the information that's given during it doesn't really stick.
Yeah. Well, let's start out positive. Let's start by talking about what we really liked this season.
Well, like, the lore.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
great.
Thank
like,
God.
With
Like,
Salem, I freaking love that. So, and it's definitely, it's all about, like, the whole human condition and the fear of death.
Oh
And there's
my
so many
gosh.
themes that are running through it that I did not think that this is what they
I
were
think-
going with at all.
I think that when Monty Ohm imagined the series, I know that a lot of the story that's left over is stuff that he wrote.
Yeah.
But I feel like finally this is the season where they were able to capture what was imagined and make something substantial from it. They were able to actually capture like the mystical nature of the world.
Yeah.
Because without Monty, they don't have as many fight scenes. And so really what's happened is that we've had to be carried by a story that wasn't as strong. And now I feel like in season 6, like the lore and the stories and the characters are just so vibrant and they're actually brought to life. This is definitely my favorite post-Monty season.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we definitely capture some of that RWBY spark that made us all love the show in the first place.
Yeah, I think I would definitely agree. The season really comes out the gate with all that, right? So I think I was really worried that it would take us a long... Like, I knew we would have to get some explanation, being that the main focus of this season was, like, how are we going to stop Salem? That we'd have to get some explanation of her and what her relationship was to Ozpin and all that sort of stuff. But, I mean, it was... literally the third episode in, and and we're deep into this massive flashback with all the, obviously he's named Oz, so I loved all the Wizard of Oz imagery and all of the, all of the kind of the ancient Chinese yin and yang they got going on, and the the god of darkness and the god of light, and they gave an explanation for what happened to the moon. They really just dived into kind of answering a lot of questions that everybody knew was kind of like on the minds of RWBY fans, without, I think, going too crazy. You know what I mean? I don't think I have a fundamentally different understanding of these characters, right? Like, I didn't have like a humongous revelation from like who Ozpin is. Like, obviously, like, I know that I get the idea that he's kind of moved bodies and things like that because he's an Oscar, and obviously I knew Salem was some sort of ancient evil, but I think I relate to their struggles a bit more. I think
because it gives you that backstory of she wasn't born evil,
right,
or anything. It was, she made really poor choices.
I mean, she made some really cunningly poor choices.
Yeah, no.
So, but the thing is, people are tricky like that. So, like, I sympathize with her over the fact that she lived a whole life trapped in a castle and was finally rescued by some man, and she felt like life cheated her by taking him from her so quickly. So, who wouldn't try and get them back? You think about something like that I feel like that's something I would be like, okay, yeah, I'll go freaking lie to the god of death.
Just so we know, do not bring Michelle into any negotiation with the god.
Do not do that. Do not bring her to any fiddle contests.
No fiddle contest.
Do not bring her down to Georgia.
But still, like, if you were put in that situation, what would you do? Yeah, you want to say you would do what's moral, but inherently humans tend to be selfish.
Yeah.
So, and I think that I don't know if I would agree that what they did to her is really fair, but that's playing with the hands of the gods.
Yeah.
So it's like very, Greek mythology too, where it's like, you did one tiny little thing wrong, now you're cursed forever.
That does feel very Greek mythology of them to do that. And I mean, when I was watching it, like, I think in a sense, I felt like at first when I was watching, I did feel like, oh my god, every mystery in this show is just revealed to us now. What's left? And then by the end of the season, I'm like, wait, there's so much we don't know. There's so much stuff we don't know.
Thankfully, the world of RWBY feels so expansive. The idea of all the different countries and all the different schools and all of that, there's nothing like, there's still obviously many places where this show could go, but now I think the show moves forward with more background. I have one particular question that I don't know if I misunderstood or I'm not sure what happened or if I'm thinking about this the wrong way. So there's one thing in the backstory that I'm really questioning. They have 4 daughters.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did they die? And are they the maidens? Because they had powers, but I definitely feel like they insinuate that they died with the
mourning
destroyed,
and,
the mourning and the destroyed toy.
I think that I've been thinking about that the whole season too, and I think that it was personally left that way on purpose, because if they answer those questions, then we have to answer all the questions about the maidens. And even though, we had that amazing season 5 ending, which was like, Vernal's not the spring maiden, I am. Like, we have this season, and we haven't actually talked about the next maiden. We haven't talked about any of that. And I think they kind of pulled the wool over our eyes on purpose. They're like, oh no, we can't reveal the entire maiden backstory. I feel like, in a sense, maybe, I feel like they're going to go one of two ways. Either the children lived and had children, or when they died, like, their powers passed on.
Or Ozpin was able to harness them in some way. Because the original story of the maidens is obviously that, these maidens found this, grumpy old wizard who didn't want to do anything, which is obviously Ozpin, right? And after everything Ozpin had been through and living for such a long time, it's easy to see how he could get to that point where he's like, well, F it. I don't care anymore. Like, nobody's, if those gods come back, humanity's a lost cause anyway, who cares? And to see his faith restored, he then gave them the power of his children. But I guess it's kind of a neat way to say that, like, obviously RWBY's got more mysteries that it can answer.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's really important, I think, that we don't know the answer to that question yet, because it shows that the writers are kind of coming into their own a little bit and cleverly showing us that no longer are we in the days of like, oh, nope, can't know any of the secrets. Ozpin's keeping it all secret. Crow's keeping it all secret. Now the protagonists of RWBY kind of know in a lot of ways.
I wonder if the 4 protagonists of RWBY will one day be the 4 maidens.
Oh my gosh.
Shocking.
Oh my gosh, what are you talking about? That would be so...
And it's not like their
Guys,
colors
when we
are...
whisper, it doesn't come up on the mic.
Oh, okay. Let's whisper loudly.
Yeah, let's whisper loudly.
I wonder if the 4 characters from RWBY are going to be the new maidens.
Welcome everyone. This is my RWBY ASMR video.
You know what? Google that. I bet that exists.
So let's move then on, I think, to the next big plot line, which is what was that town called? So they're in this sleepy town, and they're set on by this depression.
Oh
Yeah,
my God,
with
yes. I forget the name of the town, but it's this abandoned farm, like small town settlement. And we are approaching it. They're like, okay, we need a place to rest. I'm so tired. Like that. Immediately, all the characters are suddenly so fatigued when they get
And
there.
not even just fatigue, they're like melancholy and they're like apathy.
Well, and it's clear, like, obviously so this is the part of the season that I think dragged and had a problem for me when not watching it back to back to back to back. I can see if I had watched it back to back to back to back that it might have felt different. But it's weird because, like, so, and maybe this was intentional, but I don't know if it plays so well. When they go into the town, like, I feel like it makes sense that they're apathetic, right? They have just been told by Jin, the genie in the magic lamp that they have.
Well, it's
Really?
a relic. It's not a magic lamp.
Really, guys,
It's not a magical
if you're listening to this cold, I apologize.
Frank's never going to let us do this again. What is this crap?
So they're told, there's no way, not defeated, but there's no way that Salem can be killed. She is unkillable.
Well, it was actually, how do I stop Salem?
And
You can't.
You can't. So you can't stop Salem. And everybody's kind of like, well, why
do
are
we
we
do?
doing this, right? That has been kind of the driving force since season 3 through season 6
Yeah.
is,
And
we
then-
got to stop the big bad.
Everyone kind of turns against Ozpin. Ozpin takes a backseat in Oscar. So now it's just Oscar's like, what?
I'm sorry, I'm just 14.
I'm my
man.
own person. I'm a farmhand.
What is this? So I think that this is a really good place to draw a difference between us, because I started watching RWBY episode by episode in season 4, and that is a season that drags if you have to watch it episode by episode. So in comparison, I feel like season 6 moves so much faster. I'd say the largest moment for me in season 6 that allowed me to really appreciate those episodes was the fact that I actually was focused a lot on Crow, because, it's been a long time coming that he's obviously an alcoholic, he's got some issues, but so far we've seen him as cool Uncle Crow doing his cool thing, having a drink, what's wrong with him? And the apathy actually made his alcoholism very bad, and even after he left that town, he still struggled a lot with his alcoholism.
But they didn't leave it, right? So it's cool, like you said, like when they left that town, the alcoholism, which had been revealed to us as like, this is a problem, didn't go away.
Yes.
It remained a problem once we left the town. And yeah, that is really sweet.
And I think that was one of the reasons why I was able to enjoy that arc, because I was focusing on the characters. And I said this before, and I really feel this is the case. Without Monty Ohm, a lot of what RWBY is now is focusing on the characters and the story.
Well, it's tough. Obviously, when you lose, such a driving force behind your show, the people who are left to kind of pick up the pieces, they're going to honor what he was doing as much as possible, but they're going to have to try to find their own show in RWBY, right? What is the show that they want to make, and what are their ideas? And it was clear that obviously in season 4 they had to just kind of figure it out without him, right? But then, I think with the ending of season 5 being really nice and really well put together, and then I think overall season 6 having a lot of positives to it, I think they're really finding that. What I liked about the whole Crow and the alcoholism arc is that's something that generally isn't addressed in anime, which is cool. They generally let the drunk uncle character just remain the funny drunk uncle character. So it's cool that they turned that on its head. Michelle, I don't know what your thoughts were on this arc.
The drunk uncle arc?
Well, the apathy town.
Oh, I wasn't surprised by it. I kind of had that sense that something was going on there. And we're doing spoilers. Spoilers is fine.
Yeah, go
what
for it.
exactly was the main, not the mayor, but the leader of the town left to go find
Some Grimm.
it was Grimm that he locked down in the cellar.
They're
'Cause
called the Apathy.
The Apathy Grimm. So
Yeah.
he found them to kind of make all of his townspeople compliant.
Yeah, so basically,
Because people were like upset or something. People were worried.
yeah, so the more anxious you get, the more Grimm get attracted to you. And so what he was like is, okay, guys, I've
Let's
got to
get these special Grimm, our anti-anxiety Grimm,
Yes.
and lock them in the basement under our homes.
And what happened is that he only got 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is they made him so apathetic that instead of just sealing up the place where the Grimm was immediately, he was so apathetic he went to bed. And in the night, the rest of the Grimm followed them home, and so they all died in their beds because they were too apathetic to care.
So because that's like when our RWBY characters start finding like all the houses are the same, everyone's died, and I'm like, I guess there was a gas leak. But something's going on here. Like it was so strange that then it just clicked. It made sense. That's why, there's the point that at the end of the episode where Ruby's like, it doesn't matter. Let's just drop the relic. We don't need this. And she drops it down the well, but then immediately she's like, crap, like, no. And they go down there, and that's when they find the Grimm down there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to piece my memory back together about this.
I think what bothers me so much about this arc is I really wanted to like it. Like when you find out that story and like the whole thing, I'm like, man, this is something like I would have loved, right? Like I
don't
feel
know
like
if it was done as well as it could have been.
Yeah,
because then there's like a scene in between where it's like, I found beans.
They did do that.
Yeah,
Wasn't that Ruby who did that?
That was Ruby.
Yeah.
I just feel like as a whole the whole idea I just feel like I would have liked it, and I almost wish we got like a flashback to it or something. We just saw it illustrated in a different way. I unlike you, Michelle, I did not figure out what was going on. Right? I was like, why are this is. Something should have clicked.
I knew something was off. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, but I guess for me, something never really clicked. I just thought the characters were acting like super apathetic and tired about it. And it really didn't click till the end, but it's like a 4-episode arc or something. So it just feels...
Was it really that many episodes?
Yeah, so over an entire month of watching, it just felt like such a slog.
See, I lagged a little bit where I'd have a couple weeks where I'd be like, oh, there's like 3 episodes I can watch. Oops.
But... the arc did end with returning to a plot point that we haven't had since season 3, which I'm really excited about going into.
Silver eyes.
Exactly. And then immediately we get like I think one of the best fight scenes this season. It may be entirely in RWBY when we get to see our old lady friend, who we learn is the Grim Reaper. A character we've never known of before, and I would normally be mad that they're just like, we're going to side introduce this character that's always been really important and crazy in the lore. And then I saw that fight, and I'm like, never mind. Yeah, that's fine.
It's like, yeah, when we saw the fight that showed us just how fearsome Silver-Eyed Warriors. Now I'm really into RWBY, so I don't know if any of you listen to the music, but in the music,
big music fan.
Okay, so have you heard Red Like Roses?
No, I'm not.
Have you heard? Okay, so have you heard the sequel, Red Like Roses 2?
Yes.
Okay, so I really felt like this moment helped me understand Summer Rose better because, and I mean, Summer gets a little bit of airtime in the end of season 6, and I feel like understanding Summer is really important to understanding RWBY because it's always been kind of understood by all the teachers and everyone involved that RWBY's doing everything for the right reasons. She has the best intentions. Like, even when you go back to season 2, the professor asks everybody except RWBY, like, why are you doing this? And when we see the Grim Reaper, like, just take down all those Grimm, you just realize, like, wow, that's why Summer still had to fight, because she was probably the only one capable of defending so many places from Grimm. And seeing this amazing fight scene, I was like, wow, is that Monty Ohm? Like, and actually it turns out that they've hired somebody who, like, admired Monty Ohm a lot. And as an art buff, they have really started to nail in those 2D special effects. Like, a lot of the visual effects this season are in 2D, and it really shone in this episode and in some of the later fight scenes in this season. But I just loved watching the Grim Reaper fight, but it was so brutal to watch her lose her eyesight and the way she screamed. That acting was intense.
I think you said everything I was going to say. That was really great. I just super impressed by that fight scene. It was really cool to, get some background on this character that we meet on the train in the beginning.
I was going to say, what are the chances that the Grim Reaper's just on the same train that you are that's going to derail?
It's anime. Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the very least, like, she followed them on purpose. So, like, she, at least from the train station, was following them on purpose. Because you see her, like, looking back at RWBY like, that chick has silver eyes. Oh, crap. And so, because otherwise you're like, why is this old lady here and why do I care?
So from there, we go on into, where's the town?
Oh, man, I don't remember the name of the town. Is it Argus? Or, no, that's where they're headed.
They're headed to Argus.
Yeah, they're headed to Argus.
I can't, I'm bad. I need to draw maps.
Hang on.
So
yeah.
The Argus occupied place.
Yeah.
Yeah, where,
So, John's
the one
sister.
Yeah.
John's sister lives in the town on the edge, which is where they've been headed.
Oh my god, gay characters, yay.
Yay! Yeah, so...
Mixed race gay characters, yay!
Yeah, so... And also, they just have children. Like, it's just an undisputed thing. They have a child.
They just have a child.
That's just it. Like, no... Like, I think that's kind of what I like about representation. In RWBY, like, they just decided, no, these characters are together, and they have children, and we're not going to shove it.
It's just kind of like The Sims. Like, these people are dating.
Yeah, exactly. Like, here you go. They're together.
No, Argus is the name of the town. Atlas is where they're going.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right. So it's...
Sorry, representation, yay.
Yay. Yes, representation is good. But Argus is this town where John's sister lives. And if you've been watching RWBY up until this point, John has, like, noted, like, yeah, I have a ton of sisters, and they're all great. And so we finally meet one of them.
And she is great.
And she is fantastic. But it's just in time for all of the characters to have to turn around and say, hey, Nora, Ren, John, just so you know, there's no way to, like, stop Salem from what she's doing.
But then it's cool because we get a little bit of them kind of getting,
they kind of bump up the motivation.
Yeah, well,
because everyone's at this point is like, oh, well, like, we're screwed. We can't do anything. And then John comes with the crazy idea, let's steal a plane.
Yeah,
okay.
I think they get their moment to kind of grieve and then deal with it and then move on. But obviously, like, one, they have to do it faster because we're closer to the end of the season. But two, they're able to pump up the other characters, like you said.
Also, they don't have, magical grieving apathy things to deal with while they're dealing with it. And then they run into, they get to see a beautiful statue of Pyrrha, hear more about Pyrrha. And then,
oh my gosh, I was almost crying.
And then we run into Pyrrha's,
so
like, mother, sister, I'm not sure.
Relative.
A relative of Pyrrha's who, like, and I definitely cried. That was a moment when I'm like, wow, Rooster Teeth really cared about Pyrrha, and they're not just erasing it. Like, I thought after season 4, we'd basically never hear about it.
She's
any
always
again.
in the show because she's Jean's armor now.
Yeah, and they definitely don't sidetrack mentioning her. Right?
So there are even episodes in the beginning of, I think, season 6 where Jean was still feeling grief and guilt.
I think it's important that they kind of make it a point to say that, look, we didn't kill her for no reason. Yeah, it's important. Sometimes it is important in storytelling for characters to die. It does give give characters agency, but they wanted to make sure that it's like, look, we didn't kill this obviously sentient, loving character that we cared about, only to give John agency in a story. Like, she is given the entire world in which RWBY exists in, and the fall of Beacon and that whole thing has changed the makeup of the whole realm of RWBY. And that's you can't get any more agency than that.
Absolutely, but what happens immediately after that is just several episodes of awesome fights, like amazing fights. I loved the end of season 6. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but just watching fight after
I was
fight.
like anxious the whole time. I was like, oh, this better work.
I think the end of season 6 for me is like perfect RWBY, right? It's the perfect balance of great fight scenes, of humor, of heart, of action, and of seriousness. Right? Everything in it just kind of comes in at exactly the right level. And it's the same sort of great stuff that we had going on in the season 5 finale, right? And yeah, I just loved it. I thought it was all just so well balanced and so good. And like you said, I think it really pulls RWBY back in as like the heart of the show and be like, like RWBY's not just this annoying character. Like, there's a reason why like RWBY is so hopeful. that hope matters.
She's lost so much, and even as the seasons go on, it's her hope that she finds within her that saves people. And I think definitely what started the end of the season was when she started by saying, "No, Crow, you're being an alcoholic, you're treating us like crap, and you're scared. We're the people who are going to make this happen, and you can join us or you can't." And that was just like this first step into the next several episodes. But, thinking on it, I think the one thing I would say that is a problem is I feel like Adam returning kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't really. I kind of thought
Not that it was a bad fight. Not all.
No,
No, it was a good fight.
the fight with Adam was amazing. I'm totally Blake Yang here, so like
Bumblebee
that's
shipper aboard.
yeah. But I do. That's my thing. Like, I feel like Adam was just so like puppy between his legs at the end of last season, and we got one like between season sort of thing
The
where we
promo.
saw like Adam's kind of progression to where he was like sitting angry on that throne of basically his destroyed empire. But yeah, I totally agree. Like,
Maybe what would have helped is, first off, Cinder and Neo have been showing up this whole season, and I thought that meant they were going to show up for the finale. But what it really meant is they're setting up for next season.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have helped if instead of having a very slow arc with the apathy, we had some watching out, like Adam literally tracking everybody. That would have been a good thing to see.
exactly. I want to know. I'm happy to see Adam gone. I think. I think at the end of last season, it was very clear that he outlived kind of his effect on the series. I even thought that they kind of like dialed Yang back a little bit to give her a little bit extra PTSD of losing her hand, something that they really didn't address in season 5 to make the fight more impactful for season 6. And that's all great, but I think I needed a little bit of Adam's motivation there. You know what I mean? Not a ton, just like, even if it had just been like an episode or a small snippet of like, oh, he's been obsessed with them since they left. He's been watching them this whole time. He's just been waiting for his moment. He says it, right? But sometimes, show don't tell.
Yeah, I think that's probably my only real problem, because I enjoyed pretty much everything this season, even the apathy, but definitely that moment of, I'm glad you're here, Adam. I do want to see them kick your butt, but also maybe you could have shown up a little bit more throughout the season, like but ultimately, like, I think seeing his scar and seeing what he looked like was really powerful. Like,
The scar was pretty great.
yeah, like the fact that he was branded on his eye, like that's where his bitterness comes
Well, yeah,
from.
you absolutely understand. Like, it's not just he was treated like an animal; he was treated like cattle, right?
Oh.
And like we even when we because sometimes it's hard because we associate animals with lots of different things, like pets and things we love. We generally associate cattle with food, right? And the way we think of cattle, we think of like factory farming and like all of this like terrible things. So it just instantly, just very recognizably, frames Adam as this thing. He was, at some point he was somebody's thing, and that's like
hard. It hits hard.
That's devastating.
But I mean, watching his fight was fantastic because you can see how scared both the characters fighting him are. And finally, like, Blake has to see Yang as somebody to fight with, and Yang has to forgive Blake for the fact that she didn't do that. And I think that was really important for their characters because they've like mended that bond that was broken, while also killing someone visibly on screen, which we haven't seen since Pyrrha.
Yeah, well, and I mean, even in a different way than Pyrrha, there was... Pyrrha died normally. Never mind. Take that back.
I was actually kind of surprised that they killed him.
Yeah.
So because you thinking of the
Protagonist Coon, like,
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine them killing somebody,
So-
but that's what shocked me. I was like, wow, dang.
But I feel like we moved on
I
from
feel
that
like
story.
it was kind of,
Yeah.
it was his time to go.
Yeah,
but I was just shocked at that them, they wouldn't do the whole prisoner thing or whatever rather than death.
I'm excited. Something I didn't know? I didn't know Neo was mute.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
no
forgot
idea.
about Neo, and I was just reading the wiki page about her.
Yeah,
So,
no
She
idea.
was such a background character for a bit.
She was with
Well, I
Top
mean-
Hat guy,
Yeah.
whose name I also don't remember.
Roman.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, she was important in that she almost killed Yang.
Yeah.
Yes. But I mean, like, I
But
guess
other than that,
Yes.
I didn't notice that she dn't speak, and I didn't, like, think that there was a reason she didn't speak,
I
other
just
than she
thought
was
she
like
was
a season
coy.
or she was just like a season 1 and 2 character, and we only have so many voice actors.
Who's I can't think of it. When Cinder and her both show up and they had the fight scene in the bar, and there's the lady,
Oh, you mean like the town tip person who's like, I've never made twice my bounty on one.
I don't know, but I liked her. I hope
Best
we come back to her.
She was
Best
really
character.
good. Definitely, I love that immediately she was
Yeah.
like, "Hi there, oh my God, who wants to know about her? Because we are gonna sell her out."
Yeah.
Like, I definitely appreciated that character,
Yeah.
and I think
That was
that
some good comic relief.
I feel almost like it definitely we got a lot of the build-up that we needed for Neo and Cinder to do really cool stuff next season,
Yeah.
and even Emerald and Mercury. Like, is it Mercury? Yeah.
Yeah, Mercury.
Yeah, Mercury.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, Emerald and Mercury.
Scorpion dude whose tail got cut
Yeah,
off.
Tyrion,
Yeah.
voiced by Josh Greeley.
I think it was difficult. It was difficult to see our traditional antagonists take a big back seat this season to a lot of world building and stuff like that. It feels like it slows the pace, but obviously it's important because it's going to set up big stuff for the next season.
I do say I admire them because I'm so used to the RWBY formula of, okay, you see all the villains that are playing a part this season, and then they're going to do something at the end of the season. Then to see them like, oh no, they're not just going straight into a fight with these guys. They're really preparing for a big, like, Cinder means business. She knows if she fails against RWBY one more time, then she's done.
I mean, the next confrontation has to be the end of Cinder. So, well, let's talk really briefly before we end this, because we've been talking about it for a while. Let's talk what we're looking forward to for season 7, which, I mean, we've got like a whole year, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh gosh,
to wait.
really? I just have to say that now that I looked at the picture of Roman, now I definitely remember Neo. I needed that like visual
Yes.
image to jog my memory. I hope we just see more of RWBY figuring out her powers with the silver eyes, which obviously it's the plot line. Yeah, because they've cut to her a few times, right?
Yeah,
Or
but this
just
was the
one
first time we actually saw
Yeah.
her face in a model. Like, we've never
That's
seen
her mother, right?
Yes.
We're talking about her mother?
Yes. I love that.
Her name is Summer.
Summer Rose.
Come on.
Yeah, okay, somebody's gonna get the maiden power.
Who's gonna get it?
Well,
Wow.
come on, we knew this. I'm excited. We're going back to Atlas.
Atlas is so
We're
cool.
talking about the songs. My favorite songs on the RWBY soundtracks are Mirror Mirror,
Oh,
which
absolutely.
are Weiss's songs, and Mirror Mirror like perfectly mimics, particularly the sequel song, perfectly mimics her struggle in season 5. And I'm excited to have her, because ideally she ran away from that struggle by going to find everyone else, which was good, but if she's going back to Atlas, they're going to have to confront.
Yeah, they're gonna have to
Her
deal with.
snooty family.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're gonna have to deal with the Schnee problem.
Yes.
The
Schnee problem.
Schnee problem.
But yeah, and I really enjoy Weiss. So and I've enjoyed her character evolution over the past couple of seasons. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. So Weiss is definitely the melted ice queen at this point.
Yeah.
So I'd say I have a lot of excitement for the next season because I really think it's going to set the pace for like supposedly there's supposed to be like over 10 seasons of RWBY, maybe even more. So that means
They're going to keep this cash cow going as long as they can. Let's be honest.
yeah.
So
So
I'll give you $6 next year.
yeah, exactly.
Well, they make all their money. Have you seen like the cons?
Yeah.
RWBY has like just merch up the wazoo.
Yes, it does. And I mean, I'm wearing
I know what I'm
like
spending
yesterday.
all my money on at PAX.
Oh, you going to PAX?
I believe so. I have room booked and I have tickets.
So
All right. Yeah, I'll see you there.
So, for me, I'm really excited to see. I want to know, like, I want Ruby to be able to fight Cinder at her truest capability because at the end of the day, Cinder has sold her humanity, and Ruby, once she knows how to use her powers, will be able to take advantage of that. So if Ruby masters her powers next season, or we wait longer, Cinder's just going to get weaker and weaker to her. So I think next season is the perfect time for them to have an even confrontation.
Yeah.
Because if we give Ruby 2 or 3 more seasons, she's going to master it and be able to just blink Cinder out of existence like Ash.
And Ruby hasn't had like a great fight scene in a while. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
we really gave it obviously to Yang and Blake this season, and Yang got it real good last season. So I feel like we got to get some Ruby going.
It
on.
was amazing to see her channel her power and how it's funny because Pyrrha's death was the first time she used her powers, but now it's something that causes her such pain that she can't use them when she thinks of Pyrrha's death.
Yeah.
So you definitely see the Silver Eyes power, which they even told us is related to the god of light. calling back to it, it can defeat the god of darkness because it's actually a power from the god of light. And that's why Salem has been basically sending out assassins to kill every silver-eyed maiden. So RWBY stands to threaten Salem the most, and really stands to struggle against this tide more and more. And even as she grows into a more serious and mature character, I'm just excited to see her definitely catapult into the next season. And because you know what? Never has it been that her faith has gone unrewarded. Never has her struggle really broken her, because every time she loses something, she comes back more powerful. And I'm also excited to see Oscar do things more, because he's actually started to come into his own.
Oscar do things. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. But right now, he's in this precarious position where we don't know if he's going to disappear or Ozpin is. And that's
a fine line that they've been walking. So, because it seems like whatever character, the Ozpin was just Ozpin before.
Yes.
And we didn't know who
we don't know who was him before.
Who was he?
Yeah,
no one knows, where he just absorbed that whole person, where it's like, is Oscar eventually going to lose his whole identity to just Ozpin?
Well, I think ideally, Ozpin is growing and changing during this process, and maybe it'll be a true assimilation, right? We have that moment at the end there when instead of Ozpin taking over Oscar to land the plane, he was like, "Let me guide you," right? And that's there's obviously a lot there about consent and about the relationship in which Ozpin as a mentor is going to have with Oscar, and there's just so much stuff they can explore with that and have like a really deep thought process on. So hopefully they go there.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that, and I love Weiss. She's my favorite, and I love Winter. So I'm excited to see Winter return.
I hope we get Winter back. Yeah,
she has to be, because she's an Atlas. All of the characters that we focused on, I think we really...
and the Commander. I like the Commander too.
Yes, I do. Iron something.
Ironsides. That's probably not his name.
Something Iron. But I'm really excited.
Ironwood. It's Commander Ironwood.
Ironwood. Yeah. I was like, I want to say Iron Fist, but I know that's a terrible Marvel show, so they got canceled. So.
And Ironsides was a real general, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right? So, I'm super excited for those things. I'm really excited to see some really cool winter fight scenes, winter situations, winter scenes, winter backgrounds. I'm just want to see the aesthetic of how they're going to show us Atlas, because it's this beautiful crystalline city up top, and then there's a slum look, or just an industrial district down below. And I'm super excited for that.
Some class issues.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure Atlas could write the book on class issues. And overall, I'm glad that it comes every October every year, so we won't have to wait a full year. We'll just have to wait 8 months.
Yeah, it's not as bad.
So honestly, I'm just excited for it. I've grown to just really love the series and where they're taking it, and I'm excited for the art direction, because they're just finding their own in the show. So unlike most shows where I would say the first few seasons really defines it and makes it what it is, and it just decays, I'd say RWBY is only getting better and better from where it's been. I'd say, it found its peak in season 3 and kind of dipped, and now it's coming up to a different peak. It's a different show now, but it's a good show that I really like.
Well said.
Woo.
All right.
One last thing.
Okay.
Bring my man back over here. Just literally, Renora is my favorite thing ever. Bring back my man. What an amazing character Nora is.
See more of them, and that's my last point I was going to make. Is I hope we see more screen time of Nora and Ren.
Oh my gosh.
So because we got that, it was kind of the backstory of them, the little bit. Of
season 4?
In season 4, how they
ended
up together. It was so cute, and it was so touching, and it's just, I want to know more about that. I want to know more about them. I mean, and John is just awkwardly there,
so
poor John, always fifth wheeling.
The third or fifth or seventh or ninth
in the season 5 interview before the series, they basically confirmed that Renora is a thing now.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, good. Yes. So she calling him my man. I'm like, yes, my time has come. So that's really all I have to say about RWBY. But I'm super excited, and for the most part, I think season 6 was just a massive step forward in continuity and quality for the show.
All right. Well,
I'm going to say my overall, I liked it a lot. I think there were some. I think this season took a dip in the middle there, pacing wise, and I think pacing's really important. And something like other than maybe season 4. I think RWBY generally does really well. But I'm certainly, I haven't given up yet. I'll tell you that much. What about you, Michelle?
I was
And
gonna
overall,
say, we'll see you all this time next year for season 7.
maybe we talk a little more. We can talk a little more in detail of it as the series goes on next year. Now that we've branded
TV Talks.
TV Talk, I was about to say
TV
TV
Talks,
Time.
just so that you can learn more about your regular everyday television show.
We actually had a brand called TV Party, and I'm sure Frank's going to be like, "We already had a brand."
When you gotta brand it, this is what we do.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Let's
night,
brainstorm
everyone.
better names for ourselves.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.